We got a lot to talk about here this morning. Coffee's a little too hot to drink. Oh my goodness. Well, welcome everyone, and here we are. I mean, this is the Sunday before everything starts to happen. So, President Trump is going to New York tomorrow on Monday, and then Tuesday is the big day. So, when we look at what the reaction has been over the past few days from Republicans, we got to start seeing what's really happening here. And what's really happening is a very, very, just sad, sobering awakening. I mean, who is with Trump? We know Marjorie Taylor Greene is with Trump, and we know Matt Gaetz is with Trump. I'm talking about elected officials. What Republican elected officials are standing up against this banana republic third world move that's being made here? And I'm here to tell you, not very many. Not very many. There's a couple people that are making some comments, like even Jeb is trying to be relevant and is saying, "Oh well, this is wrong." Yeah, whatever. He's one of the co-conspirators, Jeb Bush. So for Jeb to be out there, welcome, Ann, and everyone else in the chat. For Jeb Bush to act like this is a travesty of justice in his mind is just completely absurd. I mean, who buys that? I'll tell you the other thing, Barr goes for Barr too, because what a lot of these people are doing, Jeb, Barr, DeSantis was outrageous in New York at his sparsely attended event that they're celebrating. They're making these knee-jerk, like little minor comments that this is a travesty of justice, it's wrong, it shouldn't happen. But what are they doing about it, right? What are they doing about it? There should be the largest gathering of Republican elected officials, past and present, right now, somewhere. Should be at Mar-a-Lago. Trump Force One is a big old plane. And Trump's got a couple of planes, by the way, here in Palm Beach. He's got Trump Force One. He's got the smaller jet, which is very, very fast. So he's got at least two planes here. And they should be here together. There should be a massive press event. And then they should travel to New York with the president and stand up against us. And then afterwards have a massive, massive press conference. But they're not doing any of those things. They're just throwing these one-liners out. So, and so you got to understand, these uniparty Republican establishment people think we are all stupid. So what they're doing is they think that if they make these mild little statements, whether it's a tweet or something, that good morning, everyone, that if they make these little tweets or a sentence here, that when it comes time when they're running for something, we'll be like, oh yeah, they said it was wrong. No, we're not stupid. I know they think because we didn't go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Oxford or wherever, the cabal go to school, that we don't understand what's going on, but we do. So this is it, man. It's really truly happening. Yeah, they're all wrong. Well, and Matt Gaetz. Yeah, but yeah, they're all fake. I call them rats, Republicans against Trump. I agree, Linda. I think Trump should challenge extradition. I'm not happy that he is just going. I think he should have challenged it. And if he were to challenge it, it's going to drag it out. And you can see how public opinion is turned. I was reading an article this morning on the podcast later today with Kathy. I'll get into all the details. It's been raining, and I'm outside here in front of Starbucks. All the tables are soaking wet, and I don't have my iPad. So all the stories I was going to go over on my iPad, I'll go over in more detail on the podcast today with Kathy. But there's I'm sure you guys have seen the stories of all the money that Trump has raised since this nonsense happened. And I was reading a story that's got a very detailed breakdown, but a huge chunk of the donations that have come in this last week to President Trump are people that have donated for the very first time to a political candidate. First-time donors. That tells you a lot. Okay? I mean, that tells you where the pulse of the American people are. They are with Trump. And that's a fact. I mean, there's just, people that aren't even MAGA, like, what is going on here? I thought this was America. Yeah, it's actually more than 25%, but yeah. I think, what, yesterday I was like 50-50 they're going to keep him after he surrenders. I think it's more 70-30 at this point, and I'll tell you why. It's 70-30 that they're going to let him go. 70-30, he'll get booked, and they'll let him return to Florida. In fact, he shouldn't even have to go to New York. I mean, the fact that they're doing this Banana Republic move, they should do it here from Mar-a-Lago, honestly. But anyway, as much as Bragg is going to want to keep him in jail, the chances are he won't, because the Secret Service won't let him. And what happened, I think, is the Secret Service, it's still 70-30, 70% chance they won't keep him. The Secret Service, when Merrick Garland broke into Mar-a-Lago, let them in. They went through all the president's private things. They went through Melania's closet, even Melania's underwear drawer. They went through Brandon's room, or Brandon. I wish they should go through Brandon's room. They went through Barron's room. Remember all that? Brandon's room. Brandon. I said Brandon again. Barron's room. Could you imagine what they'd find in Brandon's room? Oh, my goodness. They went through Barron's room and Melania's underwear drawer. And I think there was a lot of regrouping with the Secret Service on how they let that happen and what a disgrace that was. So they're not going to let them keep him. It's not going to happen. And they're not going to handcuff him either. Exactly. So, Merrick, now if Merrick Garland had not broken into Mar-a-Lago for those documents, it might be a different story, but he did. So in the end, maybe that was a good thing in the long run, because Bragg would definitely like to keep him. Yeah. Happy MAGA Sunday. And of course, today is Palm Sunday. I've been up for hours to the Trump campaign, Mary. But, yeah. So that's going to be that. And I'll tell you, the event that DeSantis had in New York yesterday, in Florida, we've had two major legal things that have happened here. Of course, the first one is what's going on with President Trump. And you may have seen this in the news. A pro-life activist was arrested protesting in front of a abortion clinic here in Florida yesterday. He was doing nothing wrong. He was out there on the sidewalk. He got arrested. Where's DeSantis? He's in New York running for president, pretending he's on a book tour. And he's up there talking about what a red state we are. Here we have a president being arrested and a pro-life activist being arrested in Florida in just a period of a couple days. And he's up there telling us that he's got the blueprint. I mean, he needs to be down here in Florida taking care of business. And a lot's being made this morning. I'm very glad when I went through the news. When I went through the news, a lot of people are calling out Governor DeSantis. Governor DeSantis was talking about, these Soros prosecutors. He didn't mention Trump's name and he didn't mention Bragg's name. I mean, what is that about? Why will Jeb not go after Bragg by name? Why will he not defend Trump? And I was talking on the stream yesterday, all these people who say, well, Trump's been attacking him. So what? Just because someone doesn't like you doesn't mean that they don't get the protections that they're afforded to under the Constitution because you don't like them or they don't like you. That's not how it works. If that's what DeSantis is doing, he's as corrupt as Bragg. Jimmy, it's not that they're weak. These people have never been with us, and I'm very disappointed in Kevin McCarthy. Oh yeah, Newsmax is where it's at. I'll be watching that. Newsmax is where it is at, and um, Newsmax is number 4 in the ratings in cable news. Number 4 in cable news ratings. If we all turn off Fox and go to Newsmax, and there's a lot of coverage, with this indictment, we could make them number 3, beating MSNBC. That would be huge. If we could get them over the top at Newsmax and make them number 3 and make MSNBC number 4, that would be huge. So, guys, flip on Newsmax. I'm going to keep it locked on my TV. Even if I'm not watching it, I'm going to keep it on. And you guys should do it too. When you go to work, turn it on. You go to church, turn on Newsmax, especially during the week and at night. Can you imagine? I mean, I was watching a little bit of Fox and Friends this morning just to see what they were doing. And as far as I'm concerned, there's only one story in this country. America is in a crisis turning point right now. And all these other stories, is there another story in the news that you could get yourself interested in? There's only one story right now. It is the transformation of the United States into a third world corrupt banana republic. Now, the question is, when did this happen? When did this happen? Has it been this way forever? Has it been this way since Trump came down the escalator? Has it been this way for 20 years? When did we lose our control of our country and it get taken over by these very, very well, that's okay. If you don't have cable, Newsmax is on YouTube 24 hours a day, live broadcasting. So you're watching me, you can watch Newsmax on YouTube live. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it has always been this way, but I'll tell you, we can blame the Republicans, okay, because we got the Uniparty, and they're certainly not doing enough, okay? So there's 3 people here, right? We've got the Uniparty is made up of the Republicans, the Democrats, and the deep state. Now, the media, they're part of the Democrats, but the leader of it are the Democrats. I mean, let's be honest here. That's just the way it is. Yeah, you hope Easter brings us good news. Yeah, I know. Tell me, they're saying that Trump thinks that his mugshot is going to be the most famous mugshot in history. There's no doubt about that. But give me a yes or no. Do you think Trump wants to be arrested? A lot of people say yes. I don't think so. Do you think Trump wants to be arrested? Yes or no? I would think no would be my answer. Yeah, no. That mugshot's not a good sight because we know what's going on. But history is written by leftist college professors. They write all the history books. That's right. So how are they going to remember this moment in history? We need our conservatives to start writing books. And I don't mean Kindle books. I mean books that have paper editions. I'm talking, that are going to be in libraries and bookstores. No. No. I agree. It's an unpredictable thing. It's very unpredictable. Give me a break. And I saw Stormy Daniels says she's prepared to testify. Yeah. Here she's got a new porn movie she's making. Is she directing, producing? I don't know what kind of directing goes into that, but she's involved in some stage of production with a new porn movie. I'm sure she'd love to testify to promote that. Well, I'll tell you. I mean, and this is true. If they keep him, which they may do, we don't know. They may keep him. These are some very nasty, nasty people. Okay. And what they're doing is so far out of bounds. And I think that Bragg and these leftists in New York and Garland, the attorney, they're being a little too calm about this. I think they've got something planned. I mean, they got this whole narrative. All they want is the mugshot. That's all they want is the mugshot. When have Democrats ever wanted just one thing and then they're satisfied, right? Whatever you give the Democrats, they always want something more. So this idea that they just want the mugshot, I don't buy that crap at all. Now, but so no, they don't just want a mugshot. Now that doesn't mean they're going to keep them, but it doesn't mean they're not going to try to keep them because they want to keep them, and they're going to do whatever it is they can do to keep them. I mean, there's no getting around that. That's just the way it is. I mean, these are very evil people, but Democrats have always been evil. There is nothing that the Democrats have done for this country that's been anything but evil. I'm going way back to the beginning. They've always been an evil party. Now, of course, I know you're all going to watch Marjorie Taylor Greene on 60 Minutes, right? Oh, man, I hope they have her on in the first segment. They should have her on for the whole hour. These are Democrats in New York. It's going to be a Democrat jury. They don't care about evidence. Democrat juries do not care about evidence. Hell, even Democrats on the Supreme Court don't care about the Constitution and the law. There, some of these Democrats. I remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg and other Democrats. I remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Was it her that said we have to look at the constitutions of other countries when making decisions? What is she talking about? Yeah, well, but you just, this is a time just to stay cool. Don't protest. Don't demonstrate. Just stay cool and be cool, right? I mean, that's what you got to do. And you got to do that for a lot of reasons. But stay cool and be cool. Absolutely. Absolutely. Levin put Kilmeade in his place. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. I don't know. Why do you all think President Trump is not contesting the extradition and is flying up tomorrow? Why do you think he's doing that? I don't really have an answer to that. Do any of you? Why is he flying up there and just doing this and not contesting it? See, I think the contesting will turn public opinion even more against this. But as I know he knows what he's doing. But why? That's the question. Why is he doing it exactly this way? Well, Kilmeade. I thought Kilmeade would have been out during all that time when they were going after Bill O'Reilly and everybody over there for all that sexual harassment stuff. Because he's not very nice to the women on Fox, if you've noticed. He's not very nice to the ladies. Oh, Trump is smarter than all of us put together. Absolutely. Absolutely, he's smarter than us. DeSantis did not say he would stop extradition. He did not say that. DeSantis said Florida will not cooperate. What does that mean? That's such a vague statement. He didn't say that. He didn't say he'd stop it. Well, they introduced, Joanne asked if we heard any more about DeSantis, the bill allowing him to run. Yeah. So the Florida State Senate, on the day of the indictment, introduced legislation to change Florida law to allow Governor DeSantis to run for president and state governor. They introduced the legislation. It hasn't been voted on yet, but it will. they're probably waiting for a big day in this indictment, like the mugshot day or something, so they can get it through without the news being forced to cover it. The news, the fake news media will have an excuse not to run the story. Oh man, it's still surreal. It's still hard to believe that this is happening. It really is. I mean, it's scary. You know, you should not be arresting presidents. Mary Trump is insane. Okay, she's in the mental health field. Most people, in particular women, that are mental health professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists, and therapists, are in that field because they have a life history of mental illness, so they're drawn to that field. So most of the people that are in the mental health field are sociopaths and crazy people, and that's Mary Trump. She's completely nuts, in my humble opinion. You know, a wise man once said nothing at all. Well, we got to say something. I mean, this. Do you guys remember where you were when Trump came down the escalator? I do. I do. I was at home and I watched it on the television in my bedroom with Kathy. But when he came down the escalator, I never thought this would happen. Through all of this, I never thought this would happen. You know, and you watch the leftist, and they are so excited. Mm-hmm. They're so excited. This is like the best thing that's ever happened. In their mind, they're so twisted. Yeah, I'm in a different Starbucks than I was yesterday. The Starbucks I was at yesterday, I'd forgotten when I went there, but they have a very bad cell connection there. I can't even use my Apple Pay hardly at that Starbucks I was streaming at, so I came back to my regular one. Well, thank you, Tori. Interesting little piece of information. Oh, yeah. Yeah, coming down the escalator, that was amazing. One day, that escalator will be named a historical landmark. You know, yesterday we were talking about what they did to Nixon and Spiro Agnew. And, Gerald Ford, Gerald Ford was a Republican establishment hack, but he did one thing that, of course, the liberals didn't like, but he did one thing. He pardoned President Nixon. And that was a pretty controversial thing at the time. And they knew they didn't want to put the country through a criminal trial of a president. Now, these are not federal crimes. So the presidents can only pardon federal crimes. But what would you rather see with Trump with this? Would you rather see, now this is not going to happen with this troll, idiot, leftist governor New York has, but would you rather see Trump pardoned on these charges or go to trial against a Democrat New York City jury? Which would you rather see? Oh yeah, the gag order. He's not gonna campaign. Give me a break. Mm-hmm. In the long run, Trump's gonna come out on top, hopefully. Yeah, well, thanks, Beverly. I appreciate it. Go to trial, Ann says. Really? Go to trial with a New York City Democrat jury. No, he cannot get a fair trial in New York. There's no freaking way. There's no way no. Yeah, right. Democrat judges, Democrat juries. This is like those Democrat judges and Democrat juries in the South against all these racist Democrat Klansmen that did all these terrible things. No matter how much evidence, no matter how many witnesses, they would acquit them. And then, 30, 40 years later, they come back and do things, right? I mean, no. Come on. Hey, Michael. I don't know why you would think he's going to get a fair trial with a New York City Democrat judge and a New York City Democrat jury. A pardon is not an admission of guilt. Yeah. And you don't have to be convicted to be pardoned, by the way. Oh, yeah. We cannot trust these snakes in liberal Democrat New York City. I just think that Bragg's office and the Justice Department, I just think they're being too quiet about everything. I think they have something planned that we don't know about yet. I think they're just being too quiet. And these are people that want nothing but attention and publicity. So there's something in play here. Now I just I don't trust the calm. And I'll tell you, even the fake news media aren't doing as much gloating as you would expect. It's like they got something. They got something in play. Well, thank you, Michael. How much bigger did Trump's rallies just get? Why can hunters snort coke and human traffic prostitutes stay on film? Exactly, because he's a Democrat. And don't forget, Joe paid for Hunter's hookers, and that's federal because he did it across state lines on wire transfers over his credit cards and everything. So, yeah, exactly. Trump's 5 moves ahead of them. Normally I would say so, but he's completely out of their control once he gets to that courthouse. Completely in their clutches, under their control, and these are terrible, terrible people. Well, it's pretty serious. They have shut down um, all of the events at Mar-a-Lago. So if somebody had a wedding this weekend, cancel. Somebody had a special Palm Sunday event, cancel. Well, this guy just flew around the corner. Welcome everyone to the stream. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I'm just having a casual coffee talk this morning, but I live stream here when I'm on the radio during the week, taking live calls from people watching on YouTube and listening to me on the radio. I also have a podcast that I upload here. Kathy and I will have a podcast later today, and I'll upload that here. And a lot of you may not know, but the Brian Craig Show podcast is on all podcast platforms. So if you want to listen in your car, we've got a decade of podcast there for you. I think we're in, I don't know what number episode this is, but it's well over 1,400 podcast episodes. I know, it's amazing. Now, you look at the history of Democrats in the justice system, Democrats never go along with the rule of law. Never. That's why, have you've heard that phrase, activist judges and then constitutionalist judges? Activist judges are judges that act like legislators, do what they feel they should do, not what the law says, not what the Constitution says. So that's, that those are Democrats. We don't have activist conservative judges. Democrats who are judges go by their feelings. And the same thing with their juries. Democrats are very, very angry people, if you haven't noticed. And they just don't care. I mean, I remember the O.J. Simpson jury. There was no man more guilty based on the evidence than O.J. Simpson. I mean, when that verdict came in of not guilty in those murders, even his own legal team was in shock, remember? And one of those jurors got out of the witness box, looked at OJ, and gave him the black power sign. There you go. It's like 2 for us. That's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with Democrats on juries. They call it activist. They're activist jurors. So So no, mm-mm. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Look, you gotta think how they. I'm reading this incredible book. I cannot remember the title of it. I'll tell you guys another time. It's about the Civil War, and it's a great book. And it starts like 20 years before and gives you the whole political background of everything that was going on with the Civil War. And in the Mexican War in the 1840s, this just tell you how Democrats are. What low life Democrats. Now we were at war with Mexico in the 1840s, right? Does anyone know why? I mean, think about it. Have you ever thought about it? Why did we go to war with Mexico? Thank you, Michael. Trump should show all of Hunter's Coke videos at his rallies. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Well, the president during the Mexican War was James Polk, a Democrat. And the reason that we went to war with Mexico is because Democrat Polk ran on his party platform. President Polk ran for president on the promise of expanding slavery. So we went to war with Mexico to grab all those Western states and make them slave states, which they did, right? Texas, not all of them, but some of them, that's what it was, just to expand slavery. That's what lowlifes, the Democrats are, you know, they don't do, everything the Democrats do is for some evil end game, That's why, they're pushing us into this war in Ukraine. Why? So they can get rich, and they don't care how many people die. Because, I remember, what was the exact quote? When John Kerry was running for president in 2004, he made a terrible comment. I can't remember the exact quote. If somebody in the chat remembers, John Kerry, when he was running for president in 2004 against Bush, made this terrible comment about people in the military being uneducated. I can't remember the exact quote. I'll have to look it up. If somebody in the chat's got to remember it. I mean, and it was in public on a microphone. He was talking. He made this terrible comment that uneducated people join the service. That's how they view people who serve in the military. They think they're white trash, uneducated white trash, and they just don't care. So they don't mind if they send your kids off to war and against Russia and Ukraine. That's okay. What else are they going to do, right? Work at Walmart? That's how they think. I wish I could remember exactly what Kerry said. And it really cost him a lot. And veterans groups were flipping out about that. That's how Democrats hate regular people. They hate regular people. They don't care. They think they know what's best, and everything they do is for corruption. Like President Polk started a whole war that we're still paying for. Yeah, Mexico thinks that we have all their occupied territory. That's why they send in their people, to expand slavery. Everything the Democrats do, like they're doing now with Trump, is for some evil, devious, low-life purpose. Well, I can't help it with the Heinz ketchup. I don't like Hunt's, I must say. But the Hunt's family were Republicans. Kerry's wife married into it. But that's the way it is. Bragg wants to keep him. I mean, don't you guys all think that Bragg is being a little too quiet here? All the Democrats are. They're being just a little too quiet. And of course not. Trump did nothing wrong. What did Trump do that was wrong? Unless you think making America great again is a crime. But, we're with Trump. Trump's got us, the American people. They hate the American people. They really do. They hate the American people, the establishment. They really do. We get in their way. It is a rainy, cloudy, foggy morning here in South Florida. And I was going to go up to Mar-a-Lago this morning, but it's too foggy. I didn't want to go up, drive up there in the dark early in the morning. The live stream in the fog, not too safe. I mean, it's really thick. Well, they're worried because the people are on Trump's side, you know, and the Democrats until Trump had a lot of groups that they've lost on their side, and Trump just red-pilled this country where they woke up out of the matrix and realized what's going on, and they lost their grip. So now they're reestablishing their control because that's what they do. That's it. We get tornadoes when we have hurricanes. Hurricanes bring tornadoes. But I'll tell you what, you know, it's very important. It's very important to stay strong during this terrible time because, you know, this country has been through things like this before, brought to us by Democrats, right? If you go through, the Democrats have done nothing throughout their history but divide this country. Look what they did in the 60s and in the early 70s with their Vietnam War fakery protest, right? They spent almost a decade dividing the country with the Vietnam War era. I mean, everything that, you know, the civil rights movement was a Republican movement. The Democrats caused division over that. Everything the Democrats ever have been involved in has had the country divided like we are now. You know, the media are trying to float this narrative that this division is new. It's not new. The Democrats have always been doing this. They do everything they can to keep the people divided, and that's how they maintain power. And that's what they're doing now. Now make sure that if you're new to my channel, you subscribe and everyone like the video, all right? Oh man, when you like the video, it helps spread the word about my channel. Kathy and I will have a podcast later today. And we'll break down in detail a lot of things that are going on. Now, I haven't heard La Raza in a long time. They're not as active as they once were. They probably just went underground. Resentment politics? Well, you know, the MAGA movement isn't just Trump. The MAGA movement is the way the Republican Party is going. You know, we took over the House. We got the majority in the House. And, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the real Speaker of the House. Kevin McCarthy is just a figurehead. And we're growing. We're growing. I'm not sure exactly what time, but we'll have a podcast up late in the day. But that's, you know, they see it happening. They see it happening. Now, unfortunately, we don't have anyone lined up to be the second MAGA president in 2028. You know, we all thought it was going to be Ron DeSantis, but luckily he blew his cover, this Donnie Brasco deep cover operative that the Uniparty had in our movement. I feel so betrayed by Ron DeSantis. Don't you? You guys feel betrayed? Maybe I feel it more because he's my governor. I feel so betrayed by Ron DeSantis. I really do. Yeah, he's beyond repair. And that event that he had in New York yesterday shows how out of touch he is with the pulse of Florida. People, are pissed at DeSantis here in Florida. I mean, pissed. And you know what? They should be, right? Losing yeah, he is, because he's running. That's why. Exactly. Don Jr. Don Jr., I'm telling you, he's at the top of the list to be Florida governor. After DeSantis's second term. Top of the list. No doubt about it. He's at the top of my list, at least. But he's here full time. Oh, no, he'd be a great governor. Ron Paul? No, please. Is he still around? How old is Ron Paul? 99 years old? Don Jr. for president? Well, he's got to be governor first. Yes, guys, thanks. Make sure you subscribe. He does own a car and a house. Don Jr. and Kim Guilfoyle have mansions next door to each other. She lives in her mansion with her son, and then he lives next door in his mansion. That's how rich they are. I was telling you guys the other day when he did a live stream. I'm sure you saw it. Don Jr. from his car. That was right outside the gate of the mansion community he lives in. Why don't they call Ron by Ronald? I don't quite get that. Do you know? Welcome, Cal. Good morning. Yep. Now it's going to be a rough week. It's going to be a rough week because the surrender's on Tuesday, and that mugshot's all you're going to see on television. It's going to be there forever. I mean, they've been making memes of the fake mugshot for years. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, Bill Clinton was raping people, groping people, taking money from the Chinese, paying off prostitutes that he impregnated and all that, and Biden's paying for his son's hookers and all that. That new business from China came out, and they go after Trump. It's insane. It's like we're in the upside down world. Is really what it is, right? That's right. That's what it feels like, doesn't it? Stranger Things. Yep. Oh, man. But that's okay. Trump, so people that are that successful are at their best when they're down. What is Marjorie Taylor Greene's maiden name? I assumed it was Taylor, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. The plan is for him to come home Tuesday. The counterpuncher. How do you counterpunch? I mean, what's going to happen if they put a gag order on him? For example, if there's a gag order, what happens then? Will the gag order prevent him from campaigning? And if you have a gag order, if they let him go, right? If they don't keep him, Durham. Like I was telling you guys yesterday, I'm not even sure Durham's a real person. But if they let him go on Tuesday and with a gag order, right? And he violates the gag order, they could pick him up on that. Charges, claims. They got some other hush money thing with the Playboy model. It won't prevent. Judges don't mess around when it comes to gag orders. It's also possible that they'll tell him he's got to stay in New York. But Is Bragg going to handle this arraignment himself, or is it going to have an underling do it? Yeah, I don't think he wants to share the spotlight. Yeah. If they get him, it won't let him go. Yeah, it's possible. It is possible. You never know. I've just never heard, like, when someone's being blackmailed, I've just never heard of the person being blackmailed being called a criminal. I mean, it seems to me in this instance, Stormy Daniels is the criminal. If you go to someone and threaten to slander them unless they pay you, that's extortion. Extortion's the crime. Being a victim of extortion isn't a crime, or at least it wasn't until now. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. Upside down world. That's right. That is true, David. You're right on the money. Absolutely. They'll drop all charges if he agrees to drop out of the presidential race. What makes you think that? When you're dealing with Democrats, you can't negotiate with Democrats. If you were to make a deal like that, they always want more. That's why I always say you can't apologize to Democrats. If you apologize, I remember I told you this before, Republicans apologize for something. What do they say? They take it as a confession and then want to destroy you. Right? Use your apology that you confess. So if he were to make a deal, he's opening himself up, and they'll say, "Oh well, he's ready to make a deal. What else can we get out of him?" Now they don't accept that. Thank you, Michael. DeSantis will quit after losing the Florida primary. Well, they're going to control who's on the ballots. They may keep him off the ballots. I mean, there's multiple new polls out today. There's not a single poll where Trump hasn't gone up, right? They got the one 30 points up, another one he jumped another 20 points up. I mean, he's got the highest poll numbers in history right now. Now, the media are pushing to have everything televised, and I don't know. I don't think they typically televise things in New York. Like in Florida, everything is televised. I don't know if they televise things ever, and I don't think I've ever seen a court case in New York on television. But that doesn't mean that they won't. I don't know if the law forbids it. Do they show the arraignments? Like here in Florida, you can watch on a live stream online all the arraignments in the county courts. They're all live streamed. I think they should show it on television. I'd love to see it on. Wouldn't you guys like to see it on TV? The media want it on TV because of the ratings. I think having it on. I think having it on television would be wonderful. Yeah, you're right, Troy. DeSantis went from an appearance of strong and bold to small and squeaky. That's right. And what a girly speech he gave in New York yesterday. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was a very weak speech that he gave. We don't know what the charge is yet. They said there's one felony charge. We don't know what it is, and I think they got something up their sleeve. They're just being too cool about it. So I know people are talking about what the felony charge is. Nobody knows. It's not leaked out yet. No, Trump's not going to endorse DeSantis. No way. No way. But I'm very glad that Marjorie Taylor Greene's going there. She's going to lead the protest. So, and I'm sure she'll be at the courthouse. She might go inside with Trump. That would be amazing. And then she'll come out and have the press conference. If there's a gag order, it won't apply to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, you got to follow the law. That's right. That's right. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and everyone like the video. How can they charge him for being blackmailed? Because they're criminals. They don't care. Okay, they don't care. That's how they can do it. Exactly. President Trump will end Bragg's career. Not to Democrats. You know, the next time there's a Democrat president, they may make him the attorney general. Could you imagine? Could you? I could imagine. I can see them doing that. Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see how they edit up the 60 Minutes interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene tonight. That one's going to be a good one. Definitely. I'm sure I'll be playing some clips on the radio tomorrow from the Marjorie Taylor Greene interview. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. She's amazing. She's amazing. Leslie Stahl is out of her league. And I love how the left are having these meltdowns that Leslie Stahl's interviewing Marjorie Taylor Greene because it's great. It's great promo for it. They're just letting their friends know to watch Marjorie Taylor Greene on 60 Minutes. I forgot 60 Minutes existed. I haven't watched it since the last time they had Trump on before the election, right? That used to be a big deal, 60 Minutes, but it's only a big deal now when they have MAGA people on, right? They'll probably have her on in the middle of the last segment. The moment DeSantis signs the bill to run while being governor, he's done. I think he's done now. I don't think he could get elected in the congressional district he used to hold. I don't think he's electable. The only way he'd win the Florida primary is if he's the only one on the ballot. I thought yesterday, well, let's give him a minute. Let's see if he'll step up. But that speech yesterday was disgusting of DeSantis's. He's done. Done. Well, we're being pretty vocal. It's not a distraction, Tony. That's one of the most overused phrases. Everything's a distraction. What's a distraction for? Give me a break. It's not a distraction. Not a distraction. Not at all. It's a reality. Pretty sick one. You can call it that if you want. You'd like to see Kristi Noem run with Trump? I don't know enough about her to say yes to that. Marjorie Taylor Greene will be heavily edited on 60 Minutes. No doubt about that. Call your reps. Yeah, well, my rep's a Democrat, so he's not taking my calls. Well, Gates is a Florida resident like Trump, too. You can't have two residents from the same state running. So, and we don't want, no. We want Marjorie Taylor Greene to stay where she's at. She's going to be Speaker of the House one day. It's not going to be Carrie Lake. It is not going to be Carrie Lake. I promise you that. It will not be Carrie Lake. Rand Paul, he'll not listen to anything DeSantis says. Yeah. I mean, he's had several opportunities to Tulsi Gabbard's a leftist. She's as liberal as Obama. She supports the Green New Deal. No, Tulsi Gabbard, no. I know Fox likes her a lot, but you cannot trust Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard supports the legalization of all drugs, including heroin. So, no. No, I don't think so. Bad idea. No doubt about that. No, Tulsi, no. No. You don't want Speaker's very powerful. Well, I'm not just going to back someone because they say conservative things. I mean, look at DeSantis. We gotta do some more research into these people. I mean, DeSantis fooled us all. Oh, no, I would hurt his campaign. That's a good one, Storm. Oh my goodness, the trolls are out. That's good. The trolls are out. But even the trolls aren't celebrating. The reason it won't be Carrie Lake is a couple reasons, but one of them is, Trump's a very good marketer, and having Carrie Lake run as his running mate, what the opposition will say is two losers on the same ballot, and variations of that. If she had won, maybe, but because she's not the governor, it's not going to be her. I think she'd be a good press spokesperson for him, though. Oh man, I would rather see her on TV talking about everything that's going on with Trump than his lawyers. I think she'd do a much better job than the lawyers. Now, Huckabee's daughter is not being very vocal about this either, so I don't trust Huckabee. Candace Owens hates Trump, so no. Well, Carrie Lake is not the governor, so no, he's not going to pick her. And Jim Jordan, I like Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan would be awesome from Ohio. That would be awesome. But not many people, it happens, but it's not often. Not many people go from Congress, either house, especially the House of Representatives, to running for president or vice president. It's very rare. It happens, but it's rare. Would I be Trump's I would not be as good as Carrie Lake as his press secretary. She would be amazing. Scott from North Carolina, that's not a bad choice. I like that. Oh, yeah, Jordan, yeah. Yep, Scott would be, Tim Scott, he would be awesome. I like that. Yeah, that would be a good pick. That would freak them out. They'd have meltdowns over that. Pat Buchanan, oh my gosh, no. First off, he's about 110, and people think he's an anti-Semite, and they might be right. I don't know. That's what his people perceive him as. No. Pat Buchanan would be awful. Is he still around? I haven't heard about him in a long time. When was the last time you've seen Pat Buchanan? I haven't even heard the name in years. No. Oh, yeah. All right, Dean. That sounds great, right? Chaos. And yeah, that's not good. Carrie Lake would be the best press secretary ever. Typically, people don't typically care for the vice president. It doesn't matter. But in this instance, it's very important. But who can you really trust? After this thing with DeSantis, who can you really trust? That would be awesome, Blue. Yeah. I wouldn't mind guesting on Right Side. That'd be pretty cool. Don Jr. He's a Florida resident, so we can't do it with him. Can't have two Florida residents. Where's McCarthy been on all this, right? Haven't heard much from him at all. I said she's not the governor. And if she was the governor, he might pick her because he could trust her. But he's not going to pick her. It's not going to be her. He's really, Trump doesn't have a lot of people to choose from because, this betrayal with DeSantis, the big question is, who can Trump trust, right? And he's got a lot of positions to fill. So how many people can he trust? And then how many positions does he have to fill, right? So that's a tough thing, Well, listen, guys, I'm going to head home. I hope everyone has a great Palm Sunday, all right? If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please, before you go, like,